Hey guys, what is up? It is the Fast Break Report here, bringing you guys another vlog, and well, it's finally over. The ride is over for us Pacers fans. We got swept by the Boston Celtics. Before I get into the game, I just want to say this. If you're a Pacers fan, you can't be mad about this season. Andrew Nembhard grew a lot. I think Obi Toppin grew a lot. I think Miles Turner learned a couple things, considering he's never been to the Eastern Conference Finals. Tyrese Halliburton learned a lot. This was a huge learning experience for everybody on our team. It sucks that like the NBA kind of had this pre-planned, like, oh yeah, like the Pacers are gonna fucking lose this game. Even though there has been moments even in this game where like TJ McConnell, like the one foul that blew my mind in this game, like there was two calls that went the other way that didn't make sense. First of all, like the Aaron Nesmith travel call that didn't get called was egregious. Like as a Pacers fan, even I was like, yeah, Aaron Nesmith just fucking traveled, okay? But the one foul that like really like sent me over the edge was the TJ McConnell call that didn't get called a fucking flagrant foul. Jaylen Brown jumped to try to block the shot from TJ McConnell or try to make contact with the ball, whacked him in the fucking face, and it didn't get called a flagrant one. Now, if this is the NBA regular season, that gets called all fucking day. But because we're in the playoffs, and I kind of get it now, where fans have conspiracy theories that the games, even though players have come out and said that they believe the games are rigged. They've gone on TV and said, I can't tell you why they won that series. But even players believe that certain teams get favorite, special treatment over others. And, I understand that the NBA wants certain teams in the NBA Finals. I understand they don't want the NBA Finals to be a fucking sweep, but at the same time, I think, if you're a 6th seed and you make it all the way to the fucking Eastern Conference Finals, you at least deserve a fair shake, regardless of what you think or how they got there, whether it was fucking injuries or shitty foul call. I mean, the NBA tried their asses off to get the Pacers to just not be here. Okay, I'm just going to say, like, as a Pacers fan and as a basketball fan as a whole, like in Game 4 against the Knicks, when we blew them the fuck out, the Knicks got 31 free throws, the Pacers got 8. Like, there was games throughout this entire playoff run where it was just like, we were not getting a friendly whistle. We couldn't have paid for fucking refs in this playoff run. But you know what? The Celtics won. They were the favorite all year to win the NBA championship. They're probably going to play Dallas, and if they are playing Dallas, I think the Celtics are going to win. But as a Pacers fan, this season's been a lot of fun. TJ McConnell at times has looked as the third best player on this roster. The Pascal Siakam trade was very big. Granted, it doesn't help that we have stretches like this entire playoff run, specifically against the Celtics and against the Knicks at one point. There's been stretches this playoff run where we go 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes, even 7 minutes without scoring a fucking basket. That hurt us in some of these games, and surprisingly enough, we were still capable of keeping the game competitive. But even in this game, Game 4 against the Celtics, in the last 3 minutes and 33 seconds of the game, we didn't score a single fucking point. So even though there's a lot to improve on this team, I think they did a good job. I understand everybody wanted to see, Jarris Walker play, and everybody wanted to see us go to the finals, and there's a lot of passionate fans out there, but I kind of had a feeling like we were going to get fucked. At some point I thought the ride was going to be over, and sure enough, it was. This was the final game. Granted, I didn't think we would get swept. I do think, as Shannon Sharp said, I do think the Pacers should have been up 2-1 in this series at one point, but they choked. But we learned a lot. Andrew Nemhard's very good. It sucks Ben Mathurin didn't get to be a part of this because I thought this would have did fucking wonders for Ben Mathurin's growth. But we got Siakam. I think Siakam's going to resign. Miles Turner's a guy that I am hoping next season continues to be aggressive against the Celtics. In this game 4, he was kind of a non-factor. Miles Turner didn't seem aggressive at all. He wasn't blocking shots. He wasn't shooting well. He was letting his emotions get the best of him. This was a game I was expecting way more out of Miles Turner than I got. But Obi Toppin played well. We got a lot of young guys on our roster. And, honestly, the idea that we got this far was surprising to me. I think it was surprising to a lot of Pacers fans. The problem is we were severely outmatched. At a certain point, experience matters. Defense matters. And this Pacer team is not good at defense. They're not good at rebounding. They do not play third quarters well at all. They lost games this season to teams that they shouldn't have lost games to. But all in all, it was a very good growing experience for the entire team. I think Jalen Smith is gone. I think Doug McDermott is gone. It's pretty obvious Jalen Smith is gone. Dude was in fucking street clothes for game 4. It's pretty obvious he wasn't even going to play in this game. And I think that's because they know that Jalen Smith is gone. If they weren't able to renegotiate his contract around the trade deadline, then they know that he's testing free agency. He's not coming back. But I think if you're a Pacers fan, you can be upset at the refs. I will say that. If you're a Pacers fan, I think you have a multitude of reasons to be upset at the refs. Now I understand the NBA maybe doesn't want a 6th seed going all the way to the NBA Finals, but I think even if you don't think they should be there, I think they deserve a fair shot. And the NBA is clearly not giving teams a fair shot. It's very obvious that the NBA, if you're a low-seeded team and you already beat a higher-seeded team, once you get to that second round, they don't want you to go past that. It's very obvious they don't want you to advance any further than the second round. But we did. Granted, I think injuries played a big part of it. But at the same time, as any basketball team, fuck a Pacers fan, right? Even as a basketball team, right? You don't get this far without having some type of, pedigree to what you do. You know what I'm saying? You don't get all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals sheerly based on injuries or luck. Or because, like I said, you still got to play the fucking refs. You think the NBA wants you there? You know what I'm saying? As a 6th seed, do you think the NBA wants you there? A team that they don't think should even be there? So it's just the idea. I think Pacers fans should be proud of this team. I think we have a lot to look forward to next year. I think Ben Mathurin's going to be really big next year. The absence of Jalen Smith means Jarris Walker is going to get more minutes next year. He should be in the lineup to some extent. Same thing with Doug McDermott being gone. Obi Toppin, I'm a little torn on as far as if I want him back or not, to be honest with you. Obi Toppin is a guy that I think is only worth $40 million a year, $45 million max. And if he gets paid more than that, I think the Pacers should let him walk. Mostly because the dude is a total fucking liability on defense, and Jarris Walker has shown some promise defensively. Obviously, offense is his problem, not defense, but that's a good problem to have if you're a young player, especially for a team that doesn't play defense well. So I think not having Obi Toppin would open up a lot of minutes for a guy like Jarris Walker. There were times in this playoff series where I definitely thought Jarris Walker should have got more minutes than he did, specifically against the Knicks. And even against the Celtics, there were moments where I was like, I get that Rick Carlisle doesn't play his rookies a lot their first year unless you're really fucking good, or you progress really, really fast. But the thing is, a lot of Pacers fans forget that Jarris Walker's a borderline G League player. Okay, like even when he came into the league, like yeah, he's a good talent, he's a great talent, but he's not an NBA ready prospect. And I think he's gonna grow a lot in training camp. But you know, Isaiah Jackson grew a lot. Isaiah Jackson impressed me a lot this playoff series. You know, Ben Shepherd learned a lot. So, you know, we're I think the youngest team in the league. If not, we're definitely in the conversation for it. So the idea that we got this far, I mean, we got further than Oklahoma City did. And Oklahoma City was a team that a lot of people were touting could go to the Western Conference Finals. And, you know, we are, I think, a less talented team than Oklahoma City. And, you know, we, granted, might have a little bit more, we might be a better unit. But I'm excited for the future. I want to say that. I'm very excited for the future of this team. I think Ben Shepherd's going to be huge next year. You know, I think Ben Mathurin, Isaiah Jackson, Andrew Nembhard, you know, TJ McConnell's still under contract this upcoming year. So is Miles Turner. Granted, they both need extensions next year. But Siakam, I think, is going to resign. I can't see him really leaving this, mostly because I think this is the second time he's ever been back to the Eastern Conference Finals since playing with Kawhi Leonard. So I don't think Siakam's going to leave. I don't think Siakam's going to get $250 million. I will say that. I know there's going to be a lot of fans who argue that we're going to have to pay him whatever Tyrese is getting paid. I don't think that's the case. I think they're going to find a way to pay him maybe $160 million, which is still an ass ton of money. But I feel like this team is in the offseason going to try to improve in rebounding, defense, and if they can maybe get a DeMar DeRozan or trade for a Brandon Ingram or sign a Paul George. I know that's all incredibly unlikely, but if they can add another decent wing to this team's going to be back. This team is going to be back to the Eastern Conference Finals, I think, within the next couple years, because not only that, but the Celtics are also, like, the Celtics have a window. You know, they are spending an ass ton of money to have the players on that team that they have. They are a second apron team, and you know, there's going to be guys on that route. Like Al Horford's going to retire. Like if they win the chip this year, which I think they're going to, Al Horford's probably going to retire. I can't see Al Horford playing another year for them. Maybe, who knows? Maybe he does, but the Knicks are another team. Isaiah Hartenstein has played his way out of New York. I'm just going to say that. Isaiah Hartenstein would be a great pickup for the fucking Pacers, who have a rebounding problem and a defensive problem. But Isaiah Hartenstein's a guy that who's I think played his last game as a Knick, mostly because I feel like somebody's going to pay him a whole hell of a lot more than the Knicks are capable of. And OG Anunoby could be gone too. You never know. I mean, OG Anunoby's going to test free agency. Isaiah Hartenstein's an unrestricted free agent. So there's a potential there that the Knicks lose two really key players. This is, I've been saying this to a couple guys at work, Isaiah Hartenstein is entering free agency and so is OG Anunoby, and there's no way they're going to be able to retain both of them. So, one of those guys is going to go, and both of them fucking killed us in the playoffs this year, and in the minutes that OG Anunoby did play. So, anyway, tell me what you guys think about this down below in the comment section below. Like helps me out. Subscribe if you guys want to see more on the Fast Break Report. I'm out of this motherfucker. Peace, guys.